Rick McKenzie, enter. Admit. So Donna, Rick, and Jeremy are zooming tonight. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
I can. So. All right, we have everybody. Mike's on his way down, so we're good. All right, we're recording on an iPad tonight, so we're gonna.
How do you record when it's on Zoom?
Yeah,
Can you?
it is recording.
Oh, it
It
is?
is.
How can you tell what it's?
Yeah. Hi, Rick. Yeah, just leave it on. Leave it on.
Can you tell that it's recording?
Does it say recording?
Yeah, but you can't see.
You can't
where-
tell.
You can't,
Yeah.
you can't really tell what it's recording. Is it just the Zoom that's recording or?
There we go.
Oh, okay, there you go. All right, so.
Rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everybody. AJ Kane from our property maintenance crews here. He's our supervisor. And we'll let you go.
Okay, starting out with personal services. Also, 3.4% cost of living increase. Seasonal wages had no change from last year. Janitorial staff also at 3.4%. Overtime was decreased $1,000. Fringe benefits were increased to 9% for health insurance. And the paid medical leave is a number that Kelly plugs in for us. And the maintenance garage, heating fuel, again, number that Kelly gives us, $2,987. Telephone and that cell phone increase this year up to $3,000. Electricity and water and sewer both have no changes. And the contractual services at $2,500, no change. Insurance increased, good rates and no equipment coverage. Supplies and materials, again, gas, oil, and lube is the number that Kelly gives us, $7,655. Wearing apparel is for 5 full-time employees at $2,250. Supplies, all big products and cleaning products, light bulbs, floor finish, things of that nature, I believe stayed the same this year. Equipment and capital improvements, equipment maintenance was decreased $2,000 this year down to $4,500. equipment purchases, funds for purchasing ground equipment, tools, also decreased $500, down to $1,000. Building maintenance and repairs. It's maintenance on 3 of our buildings, including servicing the furnaces, fire extinguisher inspections. That also has no change at $1,500. Cemetery improvements also has no change at $2,500. And I don't know if the next line is the downtown flower committee for you guys on the spreadsheet.
We stuck that in your line a few years ago.
Yeah, I got it in 2 different places from one to the other.
Oh,
So
okay.
I didn't know if that was next on theirs. But the downtown flower committee also had no change at $3,288. Memorial Hall, and number that Kelly gives us for heating fuel at $10,576. Electricity decreased this year.
They are on a solar allocation too, so that's why that went down.
Sewer and water, no change. And maintenance repairs, again, cleaning the furnace, fire extinguishers, and other maintenance we do on the building at $5,000. The historical museum, electricity, no change. I believe the building maintenance is the same on that at $100. Cascade storage.
Yeah, we need to have a discussion on this. 'cause-
Yeah. So we got a carryover from last year, the $4,000. Proposing the $100, but the building needs a lot of work.
It needs a new roof.
Where is
We put in the budget this year,
Railroad
4,000.
Avenue Museum.
over there? Yeah.
It's a big storage building.
It's pretty much cold storage where they used to take the wool off the train and put it in that building. It's big, beautiful building, beams, old wood. It's used as a storage unit right now for rec, Westlawn youth football. The fire department has a few things in there. Oak Fest stuff,
Flower people have stuff in this.
signs, yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of from every department, I believe.
And I think you want to talk about the water.
Yeah, well, it's on concrete piers, and it's not on the best ground. It's kind of in a wet area, and we have a continuing problem with the piers actually kicking out from underneath the building. We ended up, we've lost two of the large sills and a couple of the carrying beams. We got estimates last year to have them repaired and could not get a contractor lined up to do it. That and the price we did not have the money for. We got some temporary blocking that we had all intentions of putting underneath it. The building seems to be fine now, but we do want to hope to move forward to get that blocking underneath just as a temporary fix. But the carrying beams, the ones that have the rot need to be repaired. They've got to be cut out and replaced, and it was quite costly.
It was like 25,000.
Yeah, and that wasn't including doing the roof. So it just matters to where we want to move forward with the building.
Yeah.
What's a replacement cost?
Boy, that's a big building, that 40 by 62 story. I wouldn't even guess, Dave. Granted, it is cold storage, it's not wired, it's not electrical, it's no plumbing in it. So, I mean, basically a framed up unit.
Just a relationship between what it costs to get it.
Yeah,
versus
yeah.
replacement.
Yeah.
I thought we talked about doing the roof first, so
Yes,
leaving the foundation for the roof.
that was our intentions until we found out about the foundation, and we thought that kind of put precedent over it. And I think we needed, I can't remember what we put aside last year for the roof. But I was with the understanding that we were going to try to use that to offset the jacking and replacement of all the sills. Because that come in at such a higher price. The roof, it's bad, but it's not horrible. I've got a couple spots where it shows wetness here and there, but it's not like water's dumping in there. Definitely something that needs attention, but I really think we need to, if we're gonna do something with the building, we really need to get those carrying beams straightened out and the piers fixed. But it just seems to, I know I've had 3 or 4 different contractors, at least 4, since I've been here, go in and have to reset the piers. The same piers around the outskirts just seem to kick out, no longer support the buildings.
And when we went and looked at it, it looked like we could do some grading to keep the water from.
If we could get it away from the building, but it's so wet there. Being that close to the bog out behind, I don't think you'll ever solve the problem.
Shouldn't have known.
Yeah, right, that's, yeah. I don't know if gutters on the place would help out, you know, I'm sure it'd do something, but I know when they dug around the piers, because the piers are probably 5 feet in the ground, when they dug around them, they were hitting water on the ones around the back. Just because the water table's right there.
And bog.
Is it worth keeping? It's valuable to the town.
It's a really nice building.
Yeah, I know.
It's a really
Is
nice
that-
building.
Maybe-
I just don't know the right choice. I mean,
Maybe
we,
somebody. Or use stuff that's in it, in terms of the material. I mean, I don't know. It's
I have an
usable
idea
and maintain it, and it's very useful for storage, so, okay, but if it's
right,
just a pain in the neck, maybe you could get something out of it.
that's the thing.
If it's not worth, if it's not worth what you're getting out of it. Not gonna do that now, are
Well, ideally, I'd like to see a full foundation under
we?
it, but
Yeah.
I don't know if the code enforcement officer would let us use that.
Oh, you don't even listen to him.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. Hmm.
I mean, my thoughts are it's $3,200 for a box box. You know, those are pretty big. You can put some shelving in them, be organized. You can put them out behind AJ's shed or find a spot on town land. Take all the nice wood and beams and instill those in the new town office. That's my idea.
It's labor intensive and costly to do that too.
I know.
So that would be very nice.
It would be
Yeah.
very nice. So any more questions?
I have a couple of questions about the decrease in equipment repair. That seems to be quite significant. Is there a reason why?
Yes, we actually, our fleet of vehicles and our equipment that we use throughout the summer, we're in really good shape right now. So I'm not concerned about any major breakdowns. And we have enough equipment, so if one does break down, we do have a backup. We've got one additional riding mower that we kept. We built the transmission on it, and it's got a brand new boner in it. So I think we're in good shape. I just felt safe doing that to try and save a little bit. Not to say that we're gonna have to have that back down the road when things start getting a little age on them, but overall, we've got all of our equipment in really good shape.
Okay, and the other one is under other properties, maintenance and repairs. You like went half. You went from 10,000 to 5,000.
And what was that on, Kelly?
Other properties, maintenance and repairs went from 10,000 to 5,000.
For Memorial Hall.
Oh, Memorial Hall.
We've done 10,000 the last 2 years. 2 years ago, we spent 7,800. And right now, we've only spent 1,500 out of the 10.
Is that money been spent or is it being put somewhere as a fund to?
No,
when we
this
did
is
the-
to take care of the building.
Yeah,
This
we
is
still
to-
have,
this
we
is the
still have plenty to
operating-
do in there.
Yeah.
This
but
is
a
the
lot of it's-
operating fund of it.
Oh, I know they're raising money to redo the place.
The work that we have remaining is mostly exterior work. Right now, we could be changing the exterior doors, and especially the days.
I saw that.
Yeah, yeah, so, but yeah, we'll be able to use quite a bit of that in the near future, hopefully.
How thick are the walls? They
The stone,
like the 18 inches.
no, I don't think it's quite that much. I'm trying to think, because we had bored a hole out for drainage, we put a so-called basement. I think it was about 12 inches deep, but there's no honor value in the wall whatsoever.
No good size.
No. Funny in the attic, but nothing in the walls.
Any more questions for AJ?
Thank you.
Yes,
Gloria.
this is, I'm just curious, with the flowers, do we obtain those locally?
Yes. Pierce's.
Perfect, that's what I was hoping the answer was gonna be. Thank you so much.
Yep. And we buy our dirt from Obashan. They usually
Actually,
donate some.
they give a lot.
They give a lot, yeah.
So does Pierce's.
Anything else? Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
Good night.
You too.
Good job, bud. Thank you.
Yes, have a good night.
Yeah, thank you. Good luck in the game.
And we have code enforcement up next. Nate. He's on page 15.
Big budget.
I know you don't come cheap.
Page 15.
So you guys can see that there's not a lot of changes in this budget, other than the wages of the 3.4 COLA, the $1,500 yearly stipend to be the deputy town manager. There's a 9% increase in health insurance and a 5% paid family medical leave. No changes to legal, dues and membership, office supplies, postage. We decreased the phone to fall more in line with the cost. Office equipment, there's no change. Training, there's no change. We went up a little bit on the advertising, printing. That's mainly for postage for sending up butter notices, whatnot, in our planning board.
You also have to post those in the paper.
Yeah,
Expensive.
those things as well, yeah.
Yeah.
So we had to go up a little bit on that. But other than that, there's not any changes. Try to keep it pretty flat.
Do you have a report of what came in last year?
For
New homes and.
yeah, so we were at on top of my head. I don't have it with me, but I do have a report. It's going to be in the annual budget. There are 20. Don't quote me on this. 28 or 29 new homes. 16 stick built. We had modulars. We had double wides and single wides. A lot of permits for renovations, shoreline zone permits. Some land use, very little commercial. But yeah, I mean, we were pretty much in line as last year. I think we're a few off from last year as far as total homes being built, but we're going with that.
Are you doing office for this year?
Mike, can you just speak a little louder because they're recording? I wanna
Yeah, I
make sure
can't- I
people
couldn't
can
hear
get
you.
the Questions.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Anything interesting coming?
Nothing yet. There's some things in the pipeline, but nothing that I really can elaborate on. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing that has been approved.
We have limits on how many homes we put up every year, right? I know
No.
it used to be,
No.
not anymore.
Yeah, bring them on.
And they grow.
they grow, so we gotta be careful too.
Tax-based growers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see more commercial come into town. Yeah. Of course you would.
I know where they can rent some.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But permit wise, I would say we were at the same, we're not far off as far as even just build, renovation permits and shoreline zone. I think we're right on track. Yep. You're welcome. Any other questions? Gonna let me off that easy?
I was just wondering, I was asking about the legal fees. Yeah, is that just standard? You just put
No.
$8,000, and I see one year there was 14,000 expended.
Yeah.
And that had to be made up, obviously, and last year was 2,400, so big difference.
Yeah, I would say that we have,
It's just an arbitrary number.
yeah, we try to just base it on what we're gonna, how things are gonna go. We gotta be careful with that because a court, any typical court case could go from 2,500 to 10 grand.
Yeah.
And we do have one that's gonna happen in March. Yeah. We do. Is that it?
Good evening.
Thank you.
Dave Coughlin, Fire Chief. You're in the hot seat. Page 7.
Would rather be at a baseball.
A lot of places. I'm not- So.
Stay there.
Go with it there.
Want to start with, just bring some handouts. That's always exciting, right? Take one and hand them around. I just asked to put together a summary of some of the 2024 accomplishments for the department. So I see there some of the accomplishments, some of the things that we're working on throughout the year. Before I get into the numbers of the budget. So the first was we were evaluated by what's called ISO, the Insurance Services Office, and we were able to lower our public protection classification rating from a 5 to a 3. This was, they look at the fire department, they look at our water supply, they look at dispatch, they look at a lot of different things. It's a pretty intensive inspection. And some of the things that made this possible were some of the things that's been supported here and supported by the town, including the construction of a new fire station, hiring of 4 full-time firefighters, supporting a grant projects. Those all helped in lowering that number. What that should turn into is lower property insurance rates for townspeople, and especially commercial properties. So hopefully that helps us attract some new commercial development that we're able to go in and when they're looking at insurance rates and comparing towns and things like that, should be very competitive with that new rating.
Dave, what are the surrounding areas?
I think Waterville's a 3, and other towns are 4 or 5s. And then when you get out to Belgrade, Sydney, Rome, they go up to because they don't have a hydrant system, so they probably go up into like 8. So it's a scale of 1 to 10. The second accomplishment that I've noted here is the department increased its services that it offers through our rescue, through our EMS department. We permitted to the advanced level, so it allows people that we have that have an advanced or paramedic license to work at a higher level. They can do more with a cardiac monitor. They can give more drugs than the basic EMT. So by permitting to that level, if one of those providers is available and on the call, that we're able to offer those services. If only a basic is on the call, then we continue to operate at the basic level. We're still a non-transporting agency. We're first response. Delta is our transporting agency. But this does allow us to offer some additional services and some additional things that we can do before Delta arrives. So again, that's not something that's just handed to you. We have to have support. We have to get new equipment. We have to get new equipment. We have to have people that are licensed at that level. We have to go through a state licensing process. We have to go through a state inspection process. So it was something that, took nearly a year to do. Next item I have is,
Before you go,
Yes.
how many of your people are licensed at that higher level?
so right now we have a total of 19 on the call force that are EMTs, plus our 4 full-time, and then we have 9, so almost about half that have that either an advanced or a paramedic license. 2 of them are, one right now in the full-time department, and then 1 that's going to be taking our test for licensing. So we'll have 2 of the career staff and about half of the call force. Pretty good number. So right now we have, just to kind of go on to that a little bit, we have 26 call firefighters on the roster, 4 full-time and 4 per diem. Of the 26, 10 of them are on multiple departments. Just kind of seems to be something that's fairly common now, is guys tend to join multiple departments. And where that comes into play is like on mutual aid calls and things like that. You have fewer people that you can offer out because they're responding with other departments. So it actually limits you a little bit. On the flip side, it helps you as well because you've got 10 people that are getting trained here. They're getting trained here. They get, their advanced licenses. So, we got a very well trained department that can offer a lot of different services. So just in the 4 per diem, those are ones that live out of town. They come in, they work per diem shifts for us that don't regularly respond necessarily with our call department. We have members on the call department that also work per diem shifts, but those are just 4 that fill in and help us out. Thank you for asking that, because I had a little sticky note there to almost like I knew. The next item, grants. I listed the grants that we were successful on this past year. So there's EMS stabilization, Stephen and Tabitha King, assistance to firefighter grant, an EMS grant for training, MEMA grant for training, and forestry for equipment. The total received in grant funding was $124,748. So that's all funds that came into us that didn't have to be raised through tax dollars, that were able to improve our department. Again, that's time consuming. It takes a lot of time and effort. And as I said, those are the ones we're successful on. We're constantly looking to apply for grants, looking for opportunities. We're not successful on all of them, but I think 124,000 is a pretty good year.
Congratulations on your hard
Grants.
work.
Adam Clement works a lot on those, as well as everybody chips in and does that part. Then I just listed a few other items. We secured $19,321 in reimbursement for FEMA from a December 2023 winter storm. That was also almost a year in dealing with meetings, FEMA representatives coming to town. Randy Marshall Sr. worked a lot on that with me. $21,738 from private donations and fundraising by the Firefighters Association that was used to purchase additional equipment and gear for the department. We offered 14 CPR classes, 91 people certified.
Charge for those, is that just free?
Just the cost of cost of the card, so $20 for a non-medical person.
And I will say every town employee is CPR certified,
And we did town employees, yes.
everybody.
Over 200 students provided fire prevention activities. We conducted funerals, unfortunately, but we conducted funerals for Deputy Chief Marty Taylor and Vaughn Farnham. With nearly 3,000 hours of training and education, and responded to 1,253 incidents. The second page is just a breakdown of what I usually put in the annual town report, just to give everybody a list of the calls that we responded to last year. So just a little extra information, but thought it would be good. Any questions?
I don't know how many people have been in there and seen this Polaris UTV that the chief got, but that is quite a machine.
Yeah, sure.
And you got 40,000 here, but it was a $50-something thousand machine.
Yeah, so additional money through some fundraising, some donations. Once the machine is totally put together, if you will, we actually just received our, what we call a fire EMS skid unit that's going to go into the back of it that has firefighting capability and EMS capabilities. So once we get that done, we're going to recognize some of the donors that we had that helped us get to that place. The Stephen King grant really helped us move the project forward and get it done. But there were some families in town that donated, some businesses that we want to recognize once it's all completed. So.
This is an off-road vehicle that you could to rescue it.
Yeah.
Can't go.
Yeah, get us on the
You can't
rail,
get it.
get us on the rail trail,
Yeah.
get us in, into places that we might not ordinarily be able to go to. Also used for events and
Yeah.
things like that. We'll get into the line item budget if everybody's. So we'll start personnel services. There, as everybody has the COLA factored in. From your original budget sheets, we have, Kelly and I met the other day and we did make a change in that there was a line for stipends. And the stipends always seem to kind of confuse people and where that goes and how it's spent, things like that. So the stipends were for the career staff that had advanced training, advanced EMS licenses, and they were offered a stipend for those based on an increase in their hourly wage. So we've taken the 10,000 and I proportioned it out to the career staff based on their training level. And we've just put that into the full-time wage line item. So that it just kind of eliminates that confusion. It puts it into their regular wage. And then it actually, by taking the number and dividing it out to get it to kind of come out fair and equitable, it's a little bit more than the 10,000. But I've offset that elsewhere in the budget. So the bottom line of the budget has not changed from your original printouts that you probably have.
This 10,000 isn't in the budget.
It's rolled into the wages.
Yeah,
It was already in the budget. We
We
moved
just
it into a
moved it.
different line item.
No, that's what I mean. It's
Yep.
not like that.
Yep.
So the other numbers are changed.
The bottom line will be the same.
No, but I mean, the 10,000 goes into the upper lines. I mean,
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
changed, those numbers have changed.
Yes. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the numbers that the full-time wage line has changed with that 10,000 going into it. The fringe probably changed a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's, like I said, we washed it out with the rest, with other items in the budget. So the bottom line of the budget remains the same. Contractual services, I think should be much the same there, other than insurance up slightly, number out of our control. Supplies and materials, everything's pretty much status quo there. Fuel changed a little bit. Everything is adequate.
What kind of insurance do you need? What is that entail?
Workers' comp, property and casualty, so we have to insure all the fire trucks, all the equipment, the building, all of that.
Liability for.
Liability, all that.
So everything kind of gets grouped into that.
Yeah.
One policy or?
One
Very-
policy for the whole town. And
Oh.
then depending on
For the
what
whole town.
he
So
has,
that's-
automobiles, equipment.
I mean, we have
Building,
$3 million worth of equipment.
yeah, it gets
Yeah,
divvied out to his department.
Yeah, okay. One company. For
So-
the whole-
Maine
the whole
Municipal,
town.
Maine Municipal.
Maine
Association.
Municipal, that's.
Yeah.
New equipment, unchanged at the 8,000. Building cost, this is where we offset that, that wage line a little bit. Under the building maintenance, everything, pretty much status quo, where heating fuel is down just based on usage, I believe, and.
Price.
Yeah.
To look at.
And then the building maintenance, we'd increased that due to the sprinkler system. There was a 3 and a 5 year test. We kind of missed the 3 year, so we had to do that and the 5 year. And so that was the reason for the increase in that line item. It looks like we're gonna be able to kind of package those two tests together and get them done, and should save us a little bit of money. So that's why we took that $1,600 out there to offset that wage line and the increase in fringes and things like that. So the bottom line in what we see up on the screen and what you have on your papers should be the same. Is that correct, Kelly?
Should be. 249, 091.
87,091 and 87,249.
So if you need to take a little bit more from that, Kelly, to make that
Take it from building.
take it right off that same, yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna be able to save on that, so. Any questions on the fire department? The entire package of that fire department portion of the budget is up less than 1%, less than 0.5%.
That's incredible.
We'll make do, so. We'll move on to rescue. We can come back to fire if anybody has any questions, comments. The rescue side of the budget, rescue, the wages in there is for the call force, call volunteers. The medical director, that's something that we added last year. That was for because we have that advanced license now, we have to have a dedicated medical director. Equipment maintenance, that's up slightly because we've added the vehicle that we got on the grant, and as well as just cost increases. Everything is. Training remained the same. Medical supplies up slightly. As you can see, we're almost 100% spent on this year. Again, offering that advanced level, you're going to use more supplies. We're using more drugs. We're able to give IVs, and we're not able to get as much back from our transporting agency as we thought we were going to be able to. So the cost of that is up slightly. So I have increased that slightly. Vehicle supplies remains the same, and insurance is just a small piece there. So,
David, do you buy your medical supplies from a hospital or from
so we do use the pharmacy at Maine General, and for most of the supplies. We also use Oakland Pharmacy for some of the stuff that they can get us. And then a lot of it is ordered online, like through medical supply companies. But the drugs that we get are primarily through the pharmacy in general. So that rescue portion of the budget, 2.2%. But when you're looking at dollars, it's 2,000, less than 2,000. Yes, Tom.
Fire prevention, you have $500 that you've had in there a couple of years running, but it doesn't look like you ever spend it.
So that was added in, yep. We use some funds from our association for fire prevention because there are some donations that come in specific for that. This is showing unspent. There has been some money spent in that. Must have been in the last, since these were printed.
Yeah, it's been through December 31st, so.
We haven't, and it all depends on, because there was nothing in there, so the association was paying for it all. And then it kind of depends on that and what kind of supplies and what kind of programs we're offering. So if we're able to get donations, or we're able to, we got last year, we got a huge donation of smoke detectors. So we didn't buy any because we hand them out free to people that need smoke detectors. So we have a lot of those. So I think this year, by the end of the year, you'll see there has been some money spent out of that.
I just want to make sure you're using budgeted money, and your association money should be for extra things.
Yep, yep.
You guys work hard to get that money.
And that's where, like I said, we do have someone who donates to us fairly regularly that wants the money used for fire prevention. So we try to do, honor that. And then there's not a lot of supplies that we need, but it's nice to have that fund to be able to pull from, especially if we don't, get the donations.
And then the other one I had was call firefighters and call rescue don't have a COLA increase.
So as you see from the previous year, we've been underspent. So what we did was I didn't want to lower those because
So it's not absorbed.
we absorbed it into that
COLA
number.
into that.
So they will have, they are getting COLA. We just absorbed it into the current budget.
Thank you.
So I'm just not comfortable reducing those very much right now. Let's give it let's see what the response levels are, what the call volume is, things like that. So,
Thank you.
yeah, but we're going to absorb it. Same thing with the per diems. We did the same thing on the per diem line. Other questions, comments?
Thank you, Dave.
All right.
Good. Good work.
Thanks for your time.
Mr. Dylan Clark, Transfer Station Manager, page 19.
Okay, so we had the 3.4% COLA increase. The car allowance overtime had no change. Fringe benefits had an increase of 9% due to insurance increases. We moved one part-time position into a full-time position this year. And
We'd
then
like to.
we would like to. That's true. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Got a quick question. You said 9%. Well, I'm counting, it looks like over 31%.
What's on the fringe benefits?
We went from 82.7 to 108.4. It's like 31%.
It's because if we move a part-time person to a full-time person, if you look on your fringe calculation sheet, you have it, so he has single health insurance, then he's rolled into retirement too, and so that adds.
That much?
Plus insurance, health insurance went up 9%. So
Okay, well,
the three of
caught
them,
that.
yeah, we're actually saving money because it's a husband and wife. And right now they're on family, which is super expensive for us. And they would go to employee, child, and single, which we would say.
All right,
But-
just threw me. Thank you.
And we don't have to add the full-time position where we put it in here because we're asking for it.
Is that the other wages? I don't see it full time.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we have, I'll let Billy explain.
We currently have 3 full-time employees, including myself. And we'd like to add on 1 more and eliminate one of the part-time positions for that. And that's all absorbed into the other wages line item,
So you have 3 full-time
including myself.
and 1 part-time,
2 part-time currently.
2 part-time.
And then we're asking for the addition of a full-time employee
So you'll end up with,
Minus a part-time.
minus the part-time employee. We're gonna transition our part-time employee into a full-time, including myself, yes,
and 1 half-time.
yes,
It's 24 hours a week,
yes,
and then the current part-timer is 16 hours a week that we want to make 40.
correct.
Which one?
Tom. Yeah. Our heating fuel was down this year. Telephone and internet was remained the same. Electricity had a slight increase of about $300. Contractual services and engineering services has remained the same. MSW tipping fees increased by 5,000. MSW transportation increased by 10,000. Demo debris decreased by 4,000. Insurance increased due to rates. Household hazardous waste has remained the same. Our training has remained the same. Building maintenance as well has remained the same. Maintenance of equipment, we have decreased by 5,000. As you can see, of the past few years, we have not needed the full amount that we had budgeted prior. We had also decreased equipment purchases by 500. As you can see again, we had not quite reached that total amount. Gas, diesel, oil, and lube did have a increase of roughly $1,400. Wearing apparel has remained the same, as well as office supplies and recycling supplies. Angela?
Did the scale get corrected now? Is that all but taken care of, or we're still saving for that?
We're still saving.
Didn't put any in this year?
No. Because it's working well.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Everything seems to be going pretty good right now. Yes?
Under training, you never seem to come close to $1,300. What are you doing for training?
There's a landfill training that I would like to schedule. I just can't seem to tie anybody down to do it.
That's a big, I mean, 1,300, you spent 38. 1,300, you spent 35. 1,300, so far you spent 100. That's a big difference.
The training from what used to be CES is now Haley Ward is between $900 to $1,000. So that's what I'm looking to get because none of my employees have had the opportunity to receive it other than myself. And I'd like everybody that works for me to have the opportunity to learn how to run the whole facility.
How do we make that happen?
Get somebody from Haley Ward to commit to coming to the transfer station and doing a complete walkthrough and do everything. And just like everybody else recently, they're struggling to find help.
So it's not the time to train them you're looking for an instructor.
Correct.
Where do they come from?
I don't know who's doing it currently because the guy that used to do it retired 2 months ago. So I'm in the process of trying to figure all that out.
Does the amount of training, does it differ depending whether it's a part-time or a full-time person if you're transitioning a part-timer?
No, it is the same amount of training, just you would go from whatever hours you are part-time, our current one would be 16 to a full 40-hour week. That is all that would change.
Thank you.
Dylan, is there through DOL or OSHA a compliance directive for transfer stations landfills?
I believe there is. I haven't been able to find one yet, but I'm working on that. I know through the DEP, there is a certain training that we are required to attend every 3 years, and that is also due to come up next year for us.
He does train his folks up there on forklifts, and I go up there twice a year. I go up there and train him on forklift, and he's never been billed for that, so, and he won't be.
Thank you.
Any other questions about the transfer station?
Perfect. I think I like the new system. Stuff there.
It's a learning curve. We're figuring
I
it
know
out.
you don't like it.
It's not that I don't like it, it's just that it's a learning curve, and when you have things running well and then all of a sudden everything changes, it's just,
Little learning.
yep.
We do have a transfer committee that's, we've been meeting for almost a year now. I'll let Glenn is the chair, so I'll let you speak of.
Yeah, so the biggest issue was that we had discussed with garbage on the ground, and the DEP corrected that for us, mandating that
Yeah.
it doesn't go on the ground, it goes directly into the bins. So we recently retained Haley Ward, one of their engineers or project managers, to come in and do a study on the transfer station flow, traffic flow for one, how can we make that better? How can we increase recycling? Because we do Dylan makes revenue for the town for the recycling that we do, but we've acknowledged or noticed that the levels could definitely increase. And, is that education and beyond, probably. So I think we asked them to look at maybe the canister system too, or something like that. MSW, like whether we go to compactors or something that might be related to the flow as well. So we met with them our last meeting, so within the last month.
The 22nd of January.
Has he come out yet?
He did on the 31st of January.
Okay. What day of the week was that? We talked
That was a Friday.
Talked about a Friday, and then he said he could come back on a Saturday sometime to see it.
Yes.
When it's busier. So then at some point they're going to generate a report with some recommendations for us. I guess the first draft. Review and
Kelly, is
see what they have to say.
KB cog keeping up to date on this packaging law that's going to affect the transfer station? For the next year, the people that package and sell material have to come up with a plan to recycle the packaging. And if you recycle it, you can get money from this fund to help pay for that. And it's a complicated mess.
It's a very
It's gonna be
complicated
a
mess.
But I don't know, KB cog are they
Yeah.
keeping up to date on it?
I'll check with Jesse. I
Yeah.
haven't talked to her in a while.
Or maybe Olivia's working on that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
There are some grants available too from KB cog.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we talked about that perhaps we can pursue once we know what the recommendations
What we
are.
need to do, yeah. It would be nice to educate and recycle more. 'Cause you see a lot of garbage, cardboard boxes.
This is gonna be some
containers.
separate kind of recycling that
Right,
you save the packaging material, like if you buy a 6-pack of donuts and you got the box and the paper, and you're gonna be able to save that type of stuff and recycle it, and the state's gonna pay for it. Yeah. How about tax money involved? And it sounds like a mess, but it's a law they passed a couple of years ago, and
The reporting for that sounds like it's gonna be
Yeah,
a
it sounds like-
logistical nightmare.
yeah, that's what I was thinking about. It sounded like a lot of work for the transfer station manager to keep track of what.
From everything I've seen, yes,
gotta
because they
have
want you
basic-
right down to 35 seconds of how much you flip the switch for electric. for electrical, so.
You're gonna have places to keep it until you get rid of it. It's a zoo. I'm sure you've heard all about it.
Well,
All right, we got any more questions for Dylan? Thank you, Dylan. We have miscellaneous. Page 30.
Third party miscellaneous. That's
Yeah.
page 30.
All right, so miscellaneous stuff is different organizations that it's like our memberships. Mid-Maine Chamber of Commerce, the town of Oakland is a member. About $900 a year to be a member of that. I did cut out Central Maine Growth Council this year. I know they helped us with our downtown TIF application, and they helped us with our comprehensive plan. But they haven't helped us in a couple of years. That's a lot of money. I feel everything's going to Waterville, that the economic development stuff, but that's up for discussion. I don't know how anybody feels about that.
I agree with you.
Okay, KB Cog, love them. It's only $9,800. They do a good job. They have a lot of grants available and they're very helpful. Dana's on their
We buy supplies
board.
through salt and culverts.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. through-
Yeah,
Save some money.
yeah, they do a purchasing, they go out and bid on big bulk items and all the towns buy into it. MMA, I know we pay them enough in insurance, but they do have a membership fee. It's about $7,500.
Based per capita. Is that what they come up with?
I don't know how they come up with that. I think we just paid the bill.
We usually get a
We'll
check back of that amount. over
Yeah,
the
we
year.
usually get it back for our workers' comp refund. So kind of washes, but we don't put it back in here.
there's a lot of grant opportunities as well. So if you take
Yeah.
advantage of those, you can get your money back.
Right.
Easy.
Like we did a one of those grants, a safety grant this, I don't know, this fall. Ended up getting, AJ got a backup camera and an alarm for his new van. And we also got all the cement barriers up at the transfer station. They paid for all those. So we had to pay up front and then we submit the receipts and they reimburse us. Memorial Day Parade. So we always donate every year $500 to the VFW for their Memorial Day Parade. Oakland Historical Society, we provide $2,500 for just help support them. The Snowmobile Club donation, that's kind of up in the air because it's whatever we bring in for snowmobile registrations is what they get. So that's just a number that's $2,500 in the expenses, and it's also budgeted $2,500 in the revenues. And Snow Pond Senior Center, we provide $1,500 to help support them. Any questions on miscellaneous?
So if you go back to the Central Maine Growth Council,
Yes,
have you made them aware that they may be on the
I have not.
chopping block?
Yes, I wanted to talk to everybody here first.
'Cause I don't disagree with what you're thinking. If they're not they're not driving new businesses on Oakland. They were very helpful with what they did,
Absolutely.
with the comprehensive plan and the TIP.
Yep.
But if that's the end of it, it was like sort of a contract. We paid them, they did it. Now what are they gonna do for us? Be an interesting discussion.
Yeah, have we asked them?
Yes, I think you could ask them, but I think the story here is really non-productive as far as what they actually do for you. At least that's my experience.
I wanted to get the feel of what you guys thought first, and now I'll have a conversation with Garvin and Kim.
And I agree that they did a lot with the TIF, writing the document, and that was great, but I don't know of anybody that they brought anybody here to even show commercial kind of development.
They're in the newspaper occasionally, and it's for businesses that are moving in the water.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
All the time. And
Not occasionally.
I don't remember the last time they had one that was moving in.
Where are we in that contract with them? It's usually a 3-year contract when we sign up, isn't it? I think, and that's the beef that I had with them, not what they did for us, but when we start out, we tie the town down to 3 years of this 30,000.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they wanted a 3-year contract every time, and what?
I think this
This is the last year of the 3-year one.
I
But
think.
we've done this for quite a few years, but they always want a 3-year contract. So it's about $100,000 we're spending.
Yeah.
And we're saying that next year's budget advisory committee has to spend the 30,000 because we've done a contract with them, but, which I never agreed with. I thought what we do 1 year is that year, you know, if the next year, things are really tough, taxes are high, the budget advisory committee has a different opinion, they might want to do something different. So I've never agreed with the 3-year thing that they do, but
I didn't know that.
that's the way it's been
Extended.
forever.
I'd ask them what they can do about your medical transport, our medical transportation,
Yeah.
and then maybe we consider it.
Yeah.
And it's fair to ask them, what have you driven to, what have you provided?
Yeah.
And if there's nothing, then I think the decision's pretty easy.
I would be surprised to hear that. Not surprised, I would like to hear what they brought, even the look, not necessarily to be here, but even the look.
Back when we were doing the comprehensive plan, they suggested that they were gonna help Rappahannock in phase. I mean, that even heard. They said they were gonna work on it.
I'll have a meeting with them next week. Oh, next, conservation. So these are our lake associations. On page 32. We've always supported our lakes. Organizations do really good work. This year, the Seven Lakes Alliance, their $5,000 goes to the Youth Conservation Corp. So they provide the students to do courtesy boat inspections at all the boat launches to make sure there's no milfoil or invasive plants on their boats. New this year is Lake Stewards of Maine. They were asking for $500. And I will say, I had them come out, it's Kim Halley, and I had her come out to my camp on Salmon Lake, and she did a big walk around assessment and evaluation of the shoreline and the driveway and the runoff and how the water flows down into the lake, and if I had enough,
Selling bond.
yeah, buffer and plants and I got a good score, so she really liked all the old rocks along the lake that didn't never disrupt the shoreline. So they're asking for $500. East Pond Lake Association's asking for 3,500. Massillonsky Snow Pond's asking for 11,000. McGraw Pond Salmon Lake Association went up this year. They're asking for 3,750. Belgrade Dams Committee did go down a little bit to $13,454. And Boyd Snowden is on our Dams Committee. Now he's the Oakland representative, so yeah. Which he has the engineering background and they love him. So.
Can't any of these other associations do the same thing that the Lake Stewards of Maine do?
Probably. Seven Lakes Alliance, they're pretty busy.
I mean, if somebody else already does it.
I don't think the Lake Association would go around and do evaluations of
No,
properties.
it's
Lakes-
Southern Lakes
Lakes-
does it as well. They don't,
Yeah. They're more
funding for Southern
project
Lakes. They're
oriented,
project oriented.
Yeah.
They're not doing like Lake Smart.
right? That's, yeah.
So did you get a letter from Lake Stewart asking for money?
No,
It's in.
oh, wait, yes, I
Yeah, I
did.
read something about it.
I did get a,
And it describes what they do.
yes.
I mean, will they go around to anybody's home other than yours?
Probably. I can scan and email that around to people so they can read it.
That would be good.
She's the person that bought the lots that we sold on McGraw Pond, the old camps that were falling down a couple of years ago. Well, 5 years ago now, I guess. Kim and her husband,
He used to be the-
They're really dedicated to.
Here.
They
yeah,
keep
they're very-
it salmon lake clean, and raw pond. Or maybe they're on the raw, I don't even know. Are they? But they're very dedicated and you're getting money's worth out of it. They may overlap with some of the other organizations. I don't know that, but they certainly are dedicated
And they're fairly new,
thorough, yeah.
I think. Any other questions? And third party.
We didn't get anything in our packets.
If you look, I cut them all.
I know, but did anybody apply? I mean,
Yeah,
normally,
these people apply that have money.
normally we had agreed that we would get the information from them so that we could review it. And there was nothing in my packet for me to review about them.
I was
We
saving.
did that after we stopped having them come in.
Can I
and
email it?
Visit us.
Can I email it to everybody?
Yeah.
It's a lot of paper. Saving paper. I can-
Electronic, that would be great.
I can scan and email. Okay.
So you got requests from the four that are listed under 2024 or?
Nope, where the town manager line is under
Oh,
25,
okay.
26,
Okay, gotcha.
that's what they've asked for.
Okay,
That's who I heard from,
okay.
Oh, those are the ones that you actually got,
that I got,
So they,
requesting that amount of money.
requesting that amount of money. Sweetser was new this year, the bottom, they want $1,000.
and what is that? Program. Mental health.
Yes.
It helps adolescent kids.
We don't need to provide transportation for our elderly. We don't need to have spectrum generation. We're getting the most vulnerable people in this town. How can you tell me none of them requested it?
I was told, they did request it, they all requested it, but I'm
I don't see
trying,
any money on the line, that's why I was wondering.
There was nothing last year either.
Now it's.
Well, there were some that requested that we didn't grant money to last year.
Didn't give me the time.
so this line is what these organizations requested this year. I've cut them because we're trying not to raise taxes. But
You're
if,
cutting the most vulnerable people
but
in
if
the
the
town.
committee would like to put the money back,
I hope
it's
we
a-
have a decent enough committee to do
it's a,
that.
it's a decision.
I'm gonna let you guys decide.
I
that.
would not like to put
Yeah.
the money back. As we discussed last year, we have no choice as far as what the state uses the money we give to all these charities. So we are getting double dipped.
Yes, that is true.
Say that again.
Can you say that again, Sue?
Absolutely. Sorry, I have to mute myself in between because my dog likes to chew his noisiest toy when I'm speaking. So we pay money to the state, and the state funds probably all, if not most of these organizations. We have no choice as far as what they send to these charitable organizations. And I would agree that I don't think it's fair to our citizenry to just spend their money on charities. I'm sure they all do great work, but we should have the choice with what charities we want to support and not be pushed down our throats, frankly.
I'm not sure how the state, I mean, they get, Midday Homeless Shelter gets money from United Way and from grants. So Sue, are you saying that the United Way money is a state donation or? I'm not sure
What
what
I'm
the,
saying is that the state, from the money that we give to the state, they fund multiple organizations through their charitable giving. So they are taking money from the towns and providing them. So if we are also providing them, then they are double dipping, and our people are, through our taxes, are actually paying twice.
I hear what you're saying. I'm questioning how, okay, I get it. Thanks.
Can I ask a question? I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, so she's saying there's town money going, so is that, are we saying like the town is writing a check to the state, or citizens are paying taxes and that money is going to the state? Well, I think that's different because, I mean, there's certainly lots of organizations around the state that get state money, federal money. I mean, KV Cap gets state money, they get federal money, they get donations. They do rely on towns supporting them as well. I think, I mean, that's how these organizations are able to operate.
Well, this historically, the council and the budget advisory committee has the opinions flow from not giving them anything at all to funding lots more than you see here, which is what we did in the past. So everybody has an opinion somewhere in the middle, and at the end of the day, majority will rule. But the variety of opinions is endless about who. I can remember back when Maine Public Radio was one of the people. And that was the biggest fight we would have at the town meeting, because some people wanted to give them $1,000, others wanted to give them $10,000, some didn't want. And anyway, so we will see what we see, but there is quite a variance of opinions.
My opinion is we don't, these places aren't double dipping. They're trying to fund their organization to provide a service to citizens. So I don't feel it's double dipping. They're looking at all their avenues of resources to try to get enough income to generate services to provide for communities. So I don't look at it as double dipping. I worked for a nonprofit for 30 years, and we build many towns for an assessment, Oakland being one of them, just to be a member of our organization, and they pay. We also got federal money, and we got state money, and we got other grant money, and we got all kinds of different assessment monies. But that's how we operated, and that's how I see this operating as well. And we provided a service for the money that we got. I say we fund them.
Completely disagree.
I've always been on the belief that we take and what we should be doing is telling everyone in town, all 6,324 of us,
that these are the people that are asking for money. Maybe you love the animal shelter and I hate it because I'm allergic to cats and dogs. So you donate. I love the Boys and Girls Club. You know, maybe he's all uptight about the life flight. But we tell them this is what they're looking for. And I bet if you look down through here, we'd get 30 people that probably donate $100. I donate all time to different things. You know, but people would donate because they might not be aware of that. But you could donate to what you want to donate to. Right now, we're telling you what you're gonna
Agree
donate.
with that.
I agree with Sue and Mike. This is Jeremy.
Yep. So I just think we ought to try it. I bet these people would be tickled to death.
We could make a page in the town report
Yeah, these are the people that are asked for money.
with
Please donate.
organizations.
And then if they donate they themselves, they can write it off on their taxes. So there you go. You know, and every year we fight over $10,000, but we're increasing the budget this year. And, you know, the county I know is looking at 9.9% increase, and the state's gonna look for more. And when's it stop? You know, when do the old people, we're gonna tax people right out of the state of Maine. And that's what I'm worried about. I seriously, I'm worried about the county budget. I'm worried about our budget, taxing our people right out. You know, maybe we cut a police officer, maybe we cut the library, maybe we cut firefighters. Geez, you know, when's it stop? We can't cut because we need those things, you know? So our townspeople, our older people in town who are barely making ends meet are suffering, and we're gonna give money to, you know, to KV Cap or to Charlie, where they get money from everybody else. That's just, and like Bob said, everyone has their own opinions, but.
Well, I feel like this year of all years, their money is going to dry up all over the place. And they do provide services that we can't. I mean, okay, so I'm gonna say a very unpopular thing, but we're spending a lot on redoing the infield and fixing the dugouts for recreation. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's also totally a perk. It's just above and beyond. So it's about weighing values. Personally, I would like a better process. If we decide to go forward with giving money, maybe not this year, but next year or whatever, we'll look at it again. I would really like to see budgets like we do with the conservation folks all submit a budget and a letter describing
I
the
have all that.
programs.
They're supposed to.
I'm
Okay,
gonna email it. I'm gonna
Okay.
scan and email it to everybody tonight.
So I
To-
think, Phyllis, to your point, what you're saying is because some charities, you know, it seems like the administration costs are higher than what goes to actually the services. Is that what you're saying? You'd like to see where those line up, and sometimes more goes towards the services. I mean, I'm still opposed to giving this money from the taxpayers, but I think if I just want to understand your point.
my point is that two things, it could be that the administration costs versus the actual programs, but also there may be programs that we're more invested in as a town, seeing how, you know, offered, because we know that people in our town actually need that service or use that service, and would be more likely to want to give money to that versus the entire organization for everything that they do. It's just a concept, you know, that like, it might be easier to think about it if we had a specifics.
And I know in the past, we've had a ranking sheet. And we did 3 at 500, 3 at 1,000, and 3 at 1,500, and that was it. And you would rank 1 to whatever, who you want to get 1,500, 1,000, 500. We could do that. Tyler?
Well, yeah, so actually, I think, I mean, so something that Mike said, and actually, I mean, I agree with I think maybe the concept of what Mike is talking about in the sense of like, so what value are they bringing back to the town? And so, I mean, so like, when the fire chief talked, he talked about all the calls that they go out on and they provide a nice list of what benefit they're providing to the town. And so I think with anything, whether it's, I mean, so your guys are talking about cutting the other organization to $30,000 because they're not bringing any benefit back to the town. So I think with anything within the budget, looking at what the benefit is that they're bringing back to the town, and if they can show that they're bringing more benefit than what they cost, why wouldn't we fund them?
And that's all in their letters, how
Yeah.
many people they serve, what they do.
I remember like, letter last year gives a specific number of Oakland residents.
Yeah.
You know, that they came to help, so I'd like to read that. letter.
Yep, I'll scan them all tonight.
So I do like the idea that we provide the list to the citizenry so they can choose on their own. Not unlike when you do your income taxes and they have those little boxes, do you want to give $7 to XYZ or what have you? And, you know, let the people choose where, if they want to spend additional tax money on this.
I'm in agreement with that. I don't think it's in the purview of the town of Oakland to pick and choose winners as to who we support as the town in lieu of the taxpayers. Regardless if we make more money or if they service more than what we spend.
Any other? What I think I'll do is I'll go back to the office, I'll scan and email everybody the third party letters and that, all that information on who is requested. And then we'll have a discussion on 225 about third party.
So that you only have those 8 there. is that
Correct.
it? It's just the 8.
Yes. Also, if you want to have any other department heads come back and speak and talk more in depth about their budget, let me know that soon so I can schedule it with them to have them here on the 25th. Sure.
Has always given a nice report,
Absolutely.
and you
Thorough.
feel very comfortable. I'd like to see other department heads propose that.
They get nervous.
Okay,
And I did ask them, I said, you know, start by saying what you've accomplished in different projects you did.
because if you're
last year.
interested in it, you might want to get along a little bit better.
I guess I'd like to see more on the quotes for the storage building. I don't know, I've never seen it. I don't know where it exists, so if there's quote, like, it sounds like you got some pricing.
Yeah,
And
somewhere.
if quotes don't exist, some sort of
There's
just
one-
listing
yeah.
of what the prices were and what services
Yeah.
that they were gonna provide.
That's a really nice building, no
It
question
really is
about it.
amazing.
you know,
It's
just-
a-
if it's
I,
gonna-
I think of it as a PG building.
if it's gonna
Wood
ride
is just,
into the bog over there. it's not-
and it's sitting right
Do
on the
something
edge of
about
a
it.
bog. Yeah.
Where exactly is the building?
It's behind Fire Station 2 and the Oakland Museum, Historical Museum, over by Railroad Avenue.
Okay, thank you.
And we can take a road trip and meet there
It's very
sometime.
easy to see what they're talking about, because they've got the side all dug out, and you can see the rotten beams there if you wanna look at them.
Yeah, yeah.
If you do tear it down, you're not gonna do it.
Right.
Probably not. Just because it's in a wetland and it's in
That wouldn't be
the
a bad
shoreline
thing.
zone. Right.
It's very crowded over there.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad thing, putting that up over there.
One more thing that I'm gonna scan and email to everybody, and we can talk about it on the 25th. Cheryl, you wanna talk about it?
I can.
Put you on the spot.
So we talked about doing a master lease for the plow trucks for Jeff and his crew. And so I reached out to the municipal leasing consultants, which is where we currently have the lease that we did last year for equipment and vehicles. And so they came back with a little bit of it's very rough estimate. It's not, obviously I didn't have any exact amounts, but they ran some numbers for us. And so they did some options, like option for one was 600,000. And that was a 5-year lease.
2 plow trucks.
Which was 2 plow trucks.
For 5 years.
Yeah, for 5 years, and the payment would be, this is approximate, obviously, but 138,000
Per year
per year,
for 5 years at
4.95. And then they did another option which was 3 plow trucks, and that was approximate 900,000. Interest rate 4.97 for 7 years, and that estimated payment came out to be 155,000 a year for 7.
Is that a lease purchase?
Yes.
Master lease purchase. So at the end of the
Yes.
thing, we pay on it the same amount for 5 years and we own it.
Yeah.
We own them all. We don't have to buy out. We don't give them back. We own them. And then Jeff runs them for 18 years.
Good at what he does.
Just call them a purchase.
Yeah, it's a
Why-
purchase.
Why do we use the term?
I don't know. Master purchase, I want to
It's-
call it.
yeah.
So
So how long do our plow trucks last?
15 years.
How much does the truck cost?
300,000.
We estimated 300.
Oh, with interest.
And this is if,
So we would pay
if they're
for
actually,
the 5-year lease, it's $138, 300. What?
oh, sorry, there was a freeze there, so I didn't want to interrupt. So that's if they're available, because we spoke at the last meeting that there may not even be an availability of 3, right?
Check it.
Jeff is
He's
checking.
checking. But, so over 5 years, it's 91,000 in interest. Each year it goes down. And then, yeah, we'll scan it and email.
Plus. I mean, plus the cost of the truck, right?
So we pay 138,000 a year, but the first year it's 29,000 in interest. Second year it's 24. Third year it's 18. Fourth year it's 12. Fifth year it's 6. So it goes down each year. But it's
With the life of the
it's a
truck,
consistent payment.
It gets pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty attractive.
So it would be interesting to try to figure out if buying them all at one lump at the price that the trucks sell for now, even paying the 4.9% interest, whether the expected increase in the cost of those vehicles over the next 5 or 7 years is gonna go up more than enough
Oh,
to
it will.
offset the interest. I
It will.
don't know the answer to that, but
Right.
it seems though it might.
Knowing that they're gonna last, well, if the history should be any indication, knowing that they're gonna last, well, even 15 years, that's double the life of the expense, so that's not so bad. And if you get 8.
I know, in 5 years, one wheeler is gonna up over $100,000. Glenn, you probably attest to that.
Yeah. So the answer is very well could.
But that was pre-COVID. To now.
We'll see.
Hard to tell if they'll keep increasing that amount every year for the next 5 to 10 years, but they might. You never
Has to
know.
level out at some point.
You think.
Think.
Kelly, did you have a question?
I do. Are we gonna get updated sheets from like what you're showing up there and then what's in here? I know me personally, it's very hard for me to follow along when I have to look up there and look down here and look up there. Particularly when I go home and go through it one more time, which I tend to do. I would like to have updated sheets before we meet again on the 25th and do a final review, so I know what I'm looking at.
Okay.
And I personally have no access to a computer or a printer, so I need printed copies
Okay.
of things.
I
Looking at them
can
on my phone is really.
stop
hard.
by Monday,
You're not open Monday.
Tuesday.
Still stop by.
Yeah, you can still stop by. Stop by Monday after 12 and I'll have sheets available for everybody to pick up and review. are we gonna be making any more? It's like, these are the changes that I've kind of been keeping track of. I lowered the state revenue sharing. So I took $59,000 out because they put up their projections. We are gonna pay Delta in full, so I took out the 5% that we'll save. We moved around some fire stipend money into wages, but that was a zero budget increase. First park revenues increased to 59,000 for next year. So it's an extra $6,800 in our revenues. I added, we have to add the 30,000 back to police overtime, or else he's gonna be over budget. And then we added, oh, we didn't talk about this yet. I met with Jeff because we cut the $3,000 out of the part-time labor in public works. He wanted to add $1 to the truck driver, assistant mechanic, and 44 cents an hour to the foreman to eat up that $3,000 that we cut. So, but I can do all these changes, print the sheets, let you look at them, and we'll go from there.
Well, I see what you're saying, because we're gonna meet again and talk again and.
Right.
vote. I get that. Maybe everybody else doesn't get it, it's just.
I get it.
It's,
I get it.
I need paper, I'm sorry.
Paper's so expensive.
I know, but it keeps the paper.
I
industry
cringe
going.
every time I have to print large amounts.
I know, I apologize,
it.
it's just hard for me to follow along using my phone. I mean,
I have an extra iPad downstairs. School gave me. Oh, the school gave you guys. and they've been
Printed
sitting
papers.
Down there forever. Did you have a
This
question?
is legal size paper, correct?
Correct.
I will donate a ream of legal size paper to the town, so for the reprint to cover that cost.
Oh, thank you, Sue. Appreciate it. Bring it Monday morning. Tuesday morning. I'm gonna show up at work Monday.
Oh, won't you?
Dave, go ahead and look.
Yes, Dave.
So what's the next step?
So next step is on the 25th. We're gonna have follow-up discussions. If you guys want to see any department heads, I can get them back here. We can talk about different departments, and then we'll make changes, add, subtract, look at, because I can do it live right here. We can see. Third party requests we'll do first, though. I did schedule a meeting on the 4th of March if we need it. So if there's additional discussion that we want to talk about, and actually make final decisions on, we can use that meeting. And then on the council meeting on March 12th, we're gonna have, that's where we vote on the final budget articles. So we will meet at the fire station because it's gonna be right before the council meeting. And the budget advisory will vote, the council will vote. And that's what gets published on the warrant article itself that goes to town meeting. And then the 26th of March, the council will sign the warrant, and then town meeting in May.
So does anybody have any major issues with the budget?
I still have to go through it again.
I want to go through it again. This department ended up getting called out. And the first line was $10,000 raise.
So there's my point.
That's a hard.
The police chief is getting I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about positions.
Yep.
Police chief's getting $11,000. The lieutenants, 2 of them are getting $10,000 increases. All other department heads are 2,000, 2,300, 25 to 2,700. We can sit here and run semantics on job safety and all that other stuff. I think that is completely skewing the whole process by doing that. I said, when this came through the first time, I voted no. But I can't believe that nobody has brought that up. Sitting in this room with all these people, but we can argue over $10,000. Not argue, but it's a discussion for 7 to 10 minutes over a $10,000 third party, but we're handing out 10, 11.
And my thought is, people are gonna, other department heads, I need a $10,000 raise. Or not even department heads.
We did that
It's just
because
union stuff though,
the
right?
union,
So how do you wanna do that? So my question, I'm gonna say it straight up, I told you the other day, I'll say it straight up again. Why don't we just take and cancel the whole police department, because now they're a police union, and we allowed a union in here back a while ago, so now the union has come on out, and now you're gonna tell the chief of police, he's gonna make less money than their sergeant. You're gonna tell the lieutenants they're gonna make less money than the patrolmen because of the way the unions are, and that's what it's all about.
I understand what you're saying.
And that just, the whole union thing aggravates me. I'm not arguing with you, I'm just telling you, it's a shame.
I think other department heads are gonna be like,
You've got a dispatcher, not even a dispatcher. Administrative assistant or whatever, making 30 some odd dollars an hour when you guys got people next door running into burning buildings for less than that. I don't know. If I was over there full time, I'd have a union here in a matter of days.
I think it's coming.
I do too.
But, and I'm not trying to stir that conversation, it's just that it is giving me so much heartburn to see somebody making $95,000 when the fire chief, public work, whatever, there's no, I mean, we had it so level at one point and it just blew up over 2 years.
Is that because
That's
of
my-
the union involvement?
The chief is not in the union, the lieutenants are not in the union. The sergeants are, which is increasing the pay, which is pushing the ceiling up every time.
Yeah, because we're not allowed to discuss union business anyway, right? You can't, whatever they say, we can't negotiate any of that. So, but I didn't
Oh, yeah,
realize,
we can negotiate that.
Yeah, me and Rick and Chris Cowan were all in negotiations, and we had Rich Cromwell from MMA.
did you have any of the county councils involved with that as well?
Don Borman was until we left, then I went in the last 2 meetings.
So I didn't realize Rick and the other people were non-union. Is that
Oh, yeah.
because they chose not to? or-
No, it's position wise.
Administration.
Oh, okay. That's good to know because
I don't have the answer. It makes me feel funny.
And that's why I wanna go through everything again. I wanna sit down, because I tried to pay attention and listen to everybody. I took notes, and now I wanna go back, and go through it. So my plan is, when I come back to the next meeting, is have some hard discussion. That's my thought.
I look at this budget, I think it's great. I mean, you see negatives, negative, bottom lines are up 3-4%. You can avoid some of that.
Right.
It's fuel costs, insurance costs, COLAs, all that other stuff. But when you look at one line and it's $30,000 increase in wages, it's like,
yeah, because I noticed that with the dispatcher, it was 17,978 increase pay in the last 3 years. Isn't she union?
She's union.
Yeah, but I mean, that's huge amounts.
usually in the union negotiations, the wages simulate what everybody else is getting across the board.
Not saying she doesn't do a great job.
Nope, not saying anything about anybody's name, I'm just on position for position. It's just, maybe I'm out of line, but doesn't seem right to me.
I know that the police chief, when he was talking, said that he felt like it was going to level
Plateau,
plateau
yeah.
and level out, because I know we were losing people, and stuff, or at least that's what he was
We
saying.
would have lost people.
Would have
yes,
lost
a year ago.
Yeah. Could have, people were talking about leaving, whatever, so I mean, if it plateaus, does that mean it won't, the union's not gonna push up? Do we renegotiate this every year or every few, every 2 years?
2 years.
We did a 2-year contract this time. Usually it's 3. So the deal is
Get us back on the same.
get us on the same schedule with everyone else so that the we can have discussions with other area departments and keep it lower than normal. Yes.
I didn't get emails from the town of Oakland. Is that something new that you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, is that through that system that you were trying? Okay.
Oh, because Zach has your email.
Oh, is that why I'm getting them? I'm like, I was confused.
So,
Is there a way to
yeah, so I
change it to
knew
a-
we're
a
gonna
cell phone
go-
number?
Hmm?
Is it in a way to change it to a cell phone number, or is it already?
It's cell phone, or email, text, or phone call.
So eventually we'll all be ready with that.
Yep, we're gonna hopefully go live on the 19th, so next Wednesday. We're live internally right now, that's why you got it, because I'm
Wow.
kind of playing with it.
Yeah. I think that's a fabulous idea.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
Very, very good.
And then we'll post it on our Facebook page. We'll have the link, get the link out there, and you go online, you sign up, username, password, and then you can sign up for what you want to receive notifications on. And it won't be every day, but
No,
you
but I
know,
think it's a great community builder as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way I've seen it come across, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's no questions left to ask. So
right.
that's a positive thing.
You can do the same thing with the state of Maine.
Really?
You have to go on the state of Maine
Yep,
website.
you sign up for their, I signed up for all
You'll
their,
know when the state's closed, or
Really?
open, or some major events going on.
See, Oakland's up and coming.
okay. So Monday, new budget sheets will be ready.
Tuesday. We're gonna be snowed in on Monday.
Oh, that's right. Okay, Tuesday, new budget sheets. I can email them sooner. For those that want them emailed.
I put it on my calendar to bring you a ream of legal to paper.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's stop this now. Okay, good night, everybody.
Night.
Bye.